All right, welcome back to the show. It's your boy Ryan, and I forgot to hold up. Hey, this is what I want. Nope, that's dynamite. Give me a second, everybody. I should have paid attention to what I thought was done. There we go, right here. Here we go. All right. So that was my fault. All right, so welcome everybody. This is the first ever dark elevation. Uh, just a quick review show. Gonna go over a few things here as to why you need to start watching this, and then just give my takes real quick on this. So we'll get into Dark Elevation. We saw Bobby Fish take on Robert Anthony, beat him. Solid match. Again, these are matches you should go watch and see. They're on free on YouTube. Just search up All Elite Wrestling and be able to watch these matches. And again, really good matches. Bobby Fish basically kicked him in the head, down 1, 2, 3. Then you had Emi Sakura, Diamante, and the Bunny teaming up to take on Sky Blue because this Dark Elevation was taking place in Chicago. That was where last week's episode was. Taking on Sky Blue, Queen Amanada, and Heather Reckless. And probably one of the best finishes down the rabbit hole. But it was done by all three of them in their own versions of Down the Rabbit Hole, which is the Bunny's finisher, and she screams down the rabbit hole, and then they all do a variation of her finisher, and then she pins them for the 1, 2, 3. I think it was Heather Reckless she pinned, but I could be wrong. Then you have Scorpio Sky with Ethan Page on commentary, and Dan Lambert down the sidelines to take on Stephen Wolf. Again, another great match. These aren't like squash matches by any means. These are good matches. Scorpio Sky wins with another beautiful TKO. His finisher looks fantastic. He hits it really well, and his opponent knew how to take the finisher. And then what they're building on Dark, or what they're building on Elevation, or Rampage and Dynamite with Julia Hart comes into play here. So we'll see Julia Hart twice, once on Dark Elevation and once on Dark. You get to see her take on Ari Alexander, I think it was. I think that's probably the same name. And she puts on this new move, basically a triangle choke with her legs. I think they didn't call anything on the first one, but on Dark they called it the leg scissors. Maybe they did say leg scissors, but the leg scissors basically just choking her out, pulls her back, and she comes out in the darker side. On Elevation, she put her jacket up to hand it to the Varsity Blondes. Neither of them were there, so she drops it in this whatever. And then on Elevation, they were with her, and she basically just walked away after beating them. She has an attitude on her now that she had the mist in the eye. I'm waiting for the eye patch to come off, and then she has, the growing thing that Malachi Black has that's slowly growing on his face. And we're going to find out eventually what that is. So we'll see there. Then, but again, they're building that up. You're seeing her character build on Dark and Dark Elevation. So another big reason why to watch is to see that growing character development with Julia Hart and the House of Black and how that's going to pan out. I think it's doing a great job with that. But again, another match, good match, pretty quick. Then you had Dante Martin take on Aaron Solo, and he beat him with the springboard moonsault, which is a beautiful, beautiful finisher. Just a beautiful move in general. And he hits it flawlessly every time. He beats Aaron Solo. This is a pretty good match, a nice long match. So you had, actual signed wrestlers taking on, signed wrestlers, and it made it, all worth the while to watch and be intrigued on who was going to win, not win. Obviously, Dante Martin is taking on Will Hobbs, I think, on Rampage, or eventually. I remember I may have missed that. I know it's coming up soon, though, or Dynamite. So obviously he's going to get the win here. But, great back and forth there in Solo. He's doing his thing. And then, just building that storyline with Dante Martin and, what's going on with the commentators just talking about, the Will Hobbs thing and, FTW and Team Taz and all that stuff. And they talked about the Ricky Starks match with Jay Lethal on Rampage last week. Then you had the Gun Club teaming up with the Acclaimed to take on Brock Anderson, Lee Moriarty, Matt Sydal, and Big Shotty Lee Johnson. These four together are great. Both four are together great. But you knew the Gun Club, being the fact that they have a match on Rampage against Jurassic Express, Again, there's no way they're going to have to lose this match, but they win the same way they won their last 4-on-4 match last week on Dark or Dark Elevation, whichever it was, by using the boombox to get the W and then walking out. Castro had a great line. Now I forget what it was. Basically, then he goes, and we're here with the Ass Boys, and, they go crazy. But as Jeff talked about in his news, and if you haven't seen Being the Elite, they have trademarked the Ass Boys now. So, or was it Danhausen's blog? It may have been Danhausen's blog. Either way, they trademarked the Ass Boys. So that is a thing that they have now that they're trademarking. And then the final match was the Best Friends taking on Chaos Project. So it was Trent, taking, and Chuck Taylor taking on Sepentico and Luther. Another great back and forth match. This was one when Luther told Sepentico to pick him up and body slam him on top of Trent, and he couldn't do that. And when he went to pick him up, Luther fell on top of him. Then Trent picked up Luther, body slammed him onto Sepentico, and then he hit him with his I can't remember what his finisher's called right now, but dropped him and finished him for the 1-2-3. Again, great matches on Dark Elevation, and great way they build it out. Then on Dark, Julia Hart opened up the show. Like I said, she beat I think it was Casey Heather with the leg scissors as well. Again, back-to-back nights were doing that. This when she walked off. Again, more aggression, more reckless. Just start punching in the corner, not giving up, just showing that anger. Really, really good character development and storytelling, and what they're going to carry over probably Dark and Rampage, and how they showed her taking on Jade Cargill for the TBS title 2 weeks ago, and why she's more angry and all stuff. It's kind of showing that character and building up. Then you have the Gun Club taking on Liam Gray and Adrian Alanis. They won. The Gun Club won, and with the shotgun, I think was the move, but it was assisted shotgun from not Austin, Colton. Colton assisted Austin with the finisher to then say, hey, they're taking on the champs on Friday night on Rampage. Just building that storyline again. Commentators talking about it. Another good match. You get to see the Gun Club fighting back-to-back nights as well. Then you see Mercedes Martinez taking on Queen Aminata. And so we saw her in the trios tag match the night before, and now she's here in a solo against Mercedes Martinez. And Mercedes beat her with the Fisherman Buster. Looked disgusting. She held her up and dropped it down. Really well executed. Again, another well-paced match and all that kind of stuff. They do really good job at pacing on these shows, and getting to see the moves and all that stuff, and how they give each wrestler a little time. Not as much with the unsigned, but you still get that back and forth a little bit. Then you had a Yuta promo, the real Yuta promo, because he had a match later on tonight, and he just talked about his he progressed from his first match to his second match with Moxley, but he's still not there, and he needs to progress more and all that kind of stuff. Just basically building up the main event, which is him versus Solo later on. You had Anthony Ogogo taking on Tony Vincita. He beat him pretty quickly, just straight up punched him in the jaw. This was now Tony Vincita did get some offense in, but then as soon as he hit him in the face, that's when Ogogo just went off and just clocked him. We had Lee Moriarty take on Anthony Henry. Some stiff blows in this one, but Lee Moriarty finished him with the flat line and pinned him. And then he has a promo afterwards talking about consistency and focus, and to focus on the now. And he is the now, and he's coming for your neck. You watch your step because he's coming for your neck. Basically building on the promo he had last week, saying, I am the future. I need to be the now, and just saying there's more talent, better talent, and I got to build myself up. Then we had Anna Jay take on Casey Lennox. -1 was by her side, beat her with the Queen Slayer. Again, another well-paced match. You have to see some offense from both people. And, again, see Anna Jay racking up the wins and just getting out there and fighting more. Next, we had Fuego del Sol take on Sepentico, and he beat Sepentico. So we saw Sepentico twice, Elevation Dark. And he did the Tornado DDT on the outside of the ring, and then came inside and did a double foot stomp to the back of the head, jumped off his back and then dropped him to the back of his head, pinned him for the 1-2-3. Nothing fancy. This is, again, another long match. These are two signed wrestlers with AEW. You got back and forth. You're not sure who's going to win. It story building throughout the match. Great job by both wrestlers. Again, all these matches I suggest watching on YouTube on All Elite Wrestling. Then you had Lee Moriarty talking about his custom theme song that they debuted tonight. They did the same with Will Hobbs. They didn't have to do a talking point. And he had True God and I think it was Shakas Apollo on this track. And just he was talking about, how much the song meant to him and, why he wears the headphones coming to the ring, how much music means to him growing up, coming from Pittsburgh, which is where he grew up in Pennsylvania. And just basically, giving a great speech and all that kind of stuff. And it's why they're doing this music stuff and all that. So that was really nice to see. Just more background onto Lee Moriarty. And then the final match, again, was Wheeler Yuta taking on Aaron Solo. So had he learned from Moxley, had he learned with all his fights he's had, again, two Sun wrestlers going at it. Back-to-back nights, Solo takes the loss. It was an interesting sequence at the ending because it was like a surprise roll-up. They called it a seatbelt. I think it was the term they used when he just rolled him up and then was going to go for it and fix his arms some weird way and then pin him for the 1, 2, 3. Then Nick Camarado comes out, basically destroys Yuta, and then Cassidy comes out and Cassidy does his thing. He ducks under the rope, slides him out. He moved. Aaron Solo went to attack him. He moved out of the ropes. Solo goes out. Nick Camarado comes out. He just slides to the side. Nick Camarado flies out, and then he goes after QT Marshall. And then QT Marshall throws him out. He stops him, and then QT Marshall just runs with his tail between his legs. And then you see him and Yuta in the ring, just checking on him, all that kind of stuff. All in all, two great shows. You saw some build with the Factory and, Solo, getting more matches in there. You saw
I just saw the Factory.
You can hear him in the background. He is in AC right now, everybody. So he will be at Dynamite tomorrow. Thank you. He'll be at Dynamite tomorrow. So he's down there right now. He's running to a bunch of wrestlers. Chris Jericho, Matt Hardy. He's seen them at least. I'm not saying he's gone fan crazy, but he's seen them. Mark Henry and all that kind of stuff. So he's living the dream of just running into these guys and getting to see them where he's at in AC. So he'll be at Dynamite tomorrow night. So it'll be another solo show review from me again. So again, that was that, and that was that. The problem is, and I know me and Jeff talked about it off air. I saw What Culture Wrestling on YouTube do a synopsis on this, and I agreed with it. And I thought, and they've been building towards that a little bit. I think they did a great job on Elevation. I think on Dark, they didn't do as much of building for this. And my only suggestion, just real quick, and then we'll get out of here, is especially with Dark Elevation, they have, you have to have to have more eyes on the product, and you have to build your wrestlers. And I get all that. But you only have with this big roster they have, you only have so much TV time. And we talked about last week about TV time and extending different hours, stuff like that. And the best solution is you have Dark Elevation and Dark on YouTube. You give them the good matches. Like the first match on Dark or Dark Elevation, I can't remember what it was. You had Kenny Omega and Joey Janela in a great, great match. You need to get these bigger guys that are signed that aren't maybe doing it. I'm not saying like everybody, because like I love the fact that I haven't seen Miro in a while, and I can't wait for them to debut Miro again. Like we saw him real quick for the Bryan Danielson match, and then he's really disappeared for that because he lost again and he can't really handle it. They're going to bring him back stronger, bigger, better than ever. Really excited to see that. But at the same time, I think, having them like too long is a big deal, but it can be a problem. But if you can build the characters on these shows and have people make people want to watch more, I think that's where you can get this out. Like you had your developmental matches with Bobby Fish and Robert Anthony, and then the trio, the six woman tag match with Sakura, Bunny, and Diamante taking on Sky Blue, who is, I think, signed with AEW. I can't remember. I know she's in the game. Queen Amanada and Heather Reckless. And then Scorpio Sky, I think, but like you had Dante Martin, Aaron Solo, the Gun Club, and the Acclaim taking on Brock Anderson, Lee Moriarty, Matt Seidel, and Lee Johnson. You had Best Friends and Cash Project. I think it was a good mix. But you put the same people on Dark Elevation and Dark, and you had way more people on that roster that you can throw in there. Like, I'm not saying right now, like you can get the bigger names on there. once in a while, like throw a John Moxley in there or a Miro or an Adam Cole from time to time. But like they have main stories going on right now, so you need to start building stories on Dark Elevation and Dark. And like I said, they do a good job on certain things, which is where a lot of people miss what's going on, and then they build it, bring it to Dynamite, and people are lost. But I think you're doing a great job by slowly starting to build stories into Dark Elevation and Dark, as well as it being more of a developmental, but giving that those 2 hours or hour and a half on Monday night and Tuesday night to YouTube to sit down and watch it for these great matches, these great wrestlers going at it, and it gives these younger guys and gals this talent to showcase themselves on a bigger platform like YouTube, where a lot of people, more eyes are on it because AEW is such a big name out there. But that's my spiel. We can get to more of that maybe tomorrow or in a news story. Jeff was put one out on Friday, just talking about some more stuff about that. But again, it's those are the two shows. There's the that's my take on the shows. I'll try to do this every week after Dark goes off. Get on here and just give you a quick rundown of the matches, and then just what you are missing in the storylines for Dynamite and Rampage that we may see this week or maybe last week that I'll bring back here, like I said, with Julia Hart being the big one right now as they're telling her story. So for Ryan and a couple of jars and Jeff, we will see you tomorrow for a Dynamite. Ain't that right there, gambling buddy back there?
Yes, man. We're winning lots of money. Thank you.
There you go. He's winning lots of money. You can barely hear him, but he says he's winning lots of money.
Because we're winning lots of money.
So I will catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.
Later.